Welcome to the Living Room Disciple podcast. And things are going to change a bit, and I'm really excited about that. For all of you who've been hanging out since the beginning or for a long time, thank you so much for being here. I'm coming up on about 2 years since I asked a friend of mine, Eric Church, who you've heard in the end credits of every episode, hey, I got this crazy podcast idea. And I pitched it to him, and he said, I want to do it with you. And for many of you, you know that Eric's the one who runs our social media accounts, does kind of like the final look at every episode and sends it off to the internet where you all can listen on one of our podcast platforms like Spotify or Apple Podcasts or watch on YouTube. And it's been really great. About 18 months straight of putting out a new episode every Monday. And I have had the amazing opportunity to get to know my friend Nick O'Brien even better, to meet a ton of fantastic humans, to work with some amazing teammates who've come and gone. Shout out to Anissa and Micah who've run production for us. And huge shout out to Kelsey, who came on as our third host and an incredibly valuable member of our team. And that's actually where the team sits right now. Me, Nick, Kelsey, and Eric. And we're thinking and praying about what the Lord has for this podcast in the future. But before I get to that, let me tell a quick story. Many of you know that both myself and Nick O'Brien have gone through some pretty big transitions this year. We both actually moved away from our hometowns in Florida to different areas of the United States. And that came with a lot of shifting. For Nick, it came with a whole new job. For me, it came with a whole new lifestyle. I mean, I had lived my whole life in Florida, and I kind of felt a spirit of transition then, like something new was coming with the podcast. And I was talked to the team about it, talked to Eric about it. Wasn't ever really sure what it was. But a few things started to happen over the last few weeks and months. The first, actually, I haven't told anybody, so I'll tell you all first. I started to feel for the first time like there was more I should have said in every episode. So an episode would end, and the next day I'd be doing dishes, and I'd be thinking to myself, I should have said that, or this is really important. I wish I would have said that. And during that time, Kelsey, who's come onto the team, has really been, in a good, really healthy way, pushing us to, honestly, to have a better product, to have a better way of serving the church. And there's been this sense that what we do as a team could be done with even more excellence. But we've always had a very firm rule on the podcast of kind of like volunteer life balance. We all have things going on. We all work day jobs. We all have families. We have a lot going on, and we never want a passionate ministry project to become all-consuming. My belief is that if somebody's on the Living Room Disciple podcast team, then their life should be healthier and better for it, not the podcast and the ministry should be sucking away from their life, which many of us who've been following Jesus for a long time and been doing ministry, at least in the context of the United States, has probably seen ministry become all-consuming and probably become something the Lord's not wanting it to be. And that's kind of started to happen to some extent. We are getting behind on episodes for the first time. In fact, this little announcement video was supposed to be recorded over a week ago. And then my family got sick and I got sick. And so this brings us as a team to thinking, praying, processing, and questioning, Lord, what do you want from us? Because a weekly podcast episode really isn't sustainable. And I don't think it's putting out into the world something that's truly valuable for the church. So through prayer and as a team, I think we have a vision going forward of what the Living Room Disciple is supposed to be, at least in its next season and iteration. We are going to be moving towards longer form, kind of explainer videos, instructional videos. We're going to have to figure this out as we go. But the goal is to take topics and dive much deeper into them. Instead of doing long series with kind of sometimes winding conversations and a few interviews dispersed in, we're going to take weeks or months to put together one video that has a bit of a higher production value, but that's not really the point. The point is that it's planned out, it's scripted more, it's more intentional and more prayed over. So that way the videos that we put out into the world are hopefully resources for the church for a very long time, and that can serve people in their discipleship to Jesus. And I don't think our podcast episodes recently have been doing that as much as we want. And that doesn't mean that we were doing anything wrong. It just means that the Lord is moving and shifting and changing, and that's a good thing. And we're going to partner with him in that shift. So what does this mean? It just means make sure you've hit that subscribe button and that little bell that says like to notify you of things. And I'm not trying to just get hyped up. I'm just saying that it's going to be a while, but you'll want to be notified, because in the new year, when we roll out our next video, it's going to be very different. And I think it's going to be really powerful, because the Lord is good and he has some things to say through us, his team over at the Living Room Disciple. And I think that he's going to leverage the skills that we have more to produce earthly things, videos that I pray can have spiritual consequences in a healthy and good way to make people, make you more like Jesus. It's going to be a while though. We want to do it right and do it better. So we'll see you sometime in the new year. And thanks so much for tuning into the Living Room Disciple, where discipleship has found a home. Oh, also shout out to the whole team, to Nick for being a great friend, to Kelsey for being a great friend and for pushing us towards more excellence, and to Eric for all the amazing things he's done, but most of all for saying, I'll do it with you. A true friend isn't somebody who just says, that's a good idea, but it's somebody who says, that's something I'm going to partner with you on. And praise the Lord for it.